If DHCP were to go down on your network, that means that a couple different things. Number one, any new device that tries to connect to the network is not going to get an IP address, so it's going to appear as if your network is down. And number two, servers that have leases that are expiring may experience certain downtime for a period of time while the DHCP server is not there for them to do a renew. Although some servers will just keep the address they have, even when the lease expires. So there are four ways that we can ensure high availability of DHCP in Windows Server. The first is split scopes. The second is DHCP failover. Then we have two other methods, which are server clustering and hot standby. The most recommended way that most people do DHCP high availability with Windows Server is going to be split scopes and failover, which I'll show you how this works. So a split scope is basically where two DHCP servers are going to share the same scope information. So it allows both servers to offer services to clients. So you create a split scope by going into the wizard. Gosh, I hate the term wizard. Wizard seems like it's just magically doing the work for you. I feel like they should call these Sherpas instead of wizards because they kind of guide you through the process. But if I ever own a software company, I'm going to call them Sherpas. So you're going to install the DHCP server role on both servers. And then you're going to create a scope on the first server and activate it. And then the Sherpa is going to configure the scope on the second server. And then you're going to go into the, you're going to run that wizard, and then it's going to create the scope on the secondary server for you with the necessary exclusion range according to the split percentage that you configure on both. So what's going to happen is you're going to have on both servers a range of IP addresses in the same scope that they can both serve out requests for. And they can both work with those scopes, but if one goes down, that's okay. The other one will just be handling those requests until you get the other one back up. And you would have to create reservations on both servers. So failover is the other option. With DHCP failover, it allows two DHCP servers to share the pool of addresses in a scope, so they both have the complete scope, and the lease information is replicated between the two servers. So when server number one leases an address, it's going to share that information with server number two so it knows that it's been leased. And if one server goes down, the other then maintains that lease information while the other one is down. You can only do this with IPv4. So there's two modes. You have load balancing mode and hot standby mode. With load balancing mode, basically both of them are online. Both of them can respond to requests. So you configure failover by right-clicking the IPv4 node in the target scope. You click configure failover. And then the configure failover Sherpa will guide you through the process. Sorry, I keep calling the wizards Sherpas. I kind of like that. If you configure failover from the IPv4 node, all scopes are listed and selected by default. So there's what the dialog box is going to look like. And if you're going to use the standby mode, so hot standby mode is basically one of the DHCP servers is going to stand by and be ready to serve out leases in case the primary server is not responding. So you can select the hot standby option for failover mode. Instead of choosing load balancing percentage, specify whether the failover partner is active server or the standby server. And that's it. So easy peasy. If you need to edit or delete the failover configuration, you can do so in the properties dialog, and that's it. So in the next slide deck, I'm going to talk about DHCP and DNS and how we can use these together to do registration on our network.